The Bermuda Triangle, an area in the western part of the North Atlantic Ocean where planes and boats mysteriously vanish. It's one of the most well-known mysteries in modern history, with countless theories attempting to explain it. But what if I were to tell you that there is no mystery? That over the years, the media has created a myth out of thin air, publishing story after story about the Bermuda Triangle, only to make people believe that something truly sinister lurks within its waters. Well, this is exactly what happened, and today we are going to explore the real story behind it. Before we begin, I want to make it clear that I don't doubt that strange things have happened in the Bermuda Triangle. After all, it is just an area of ocean, and so naturally some weird stuff is bound to happen there eventually. But the point is that nothing strange happens there any more often than anywhere else on Earth. In fact, the number of ships and planes that disappear in the Bermuda Triangle is almost exactly what would be expected given the amount of maritime traffic passing through the region every day. To really understand why this myth started, we first need to get a bit perspective. The idea of a mysterious area in the Bermuda Triangle dates back to the early 1900s. However, it wasn't until the late 1950s that stories about it began to appear regularly in mainstream magazines. This was around the same time that commercial aviation began to take off. Suddenly, thousands of people were taking to the skies every day for flights that took them directly over the Bermuda Triangle. The media was quick to latch on to this coincidence and began publishing stories about the strange disappearances happening there. Some speculated that magnetic anomalies or some other natural phenomenon was to blame, while others believed that the area was cursed. Of course, there was also the theory that alien spaceships were snatching planes out of the sky. In 1964, a U.S. Navy pilot named Bruce Gernon claimed to have been chased by a UFO over the Bermuda Triangle. According to Gernon, he had been flying from Puerto Rico to the Bahamas when suddenly a large, silver disc-shaped object appeared in front of his plane. The object, which Gernon estimated to be about 60 feet in diameter, then began to chase his aircraft at speeds of up to 60 miles per hour. Despite Gernon's best efforts to shake off his pursuer, the UFO continued to follow him for several hours before finally disappearing over the horizon. While there's no hard evidence to support Gernon's claims, his story did help to fuel the public's fascination with the Bermuda Triangle and its supposed supernatural properties. In the years that followed, the media continued to publish stories about the Bermuda Triangle, each one more outlandish than the last. At this point, the idea of a mysterious force lurking in the Bermuda Triangle had taken on a life of its own, and it didn't matter whether or not these stories were true. The public was captivated by the mystery and wanted to hear more. It wasn't until 1974 that someone came along and attempted to dunk the myth. Vincent Gaddis, a writer for Reader's Digest, set out to find the truth about the Bermuda Triangle. His investigation led him to the United States Coast and Geodetic Survey, where he discovered that the number of ships and planes that disappeared in the Bermuda Triangle was actually quite normal. There had been no increase in maritime traffic in the area since the start of commercial aviation. And so the idea that something strange was happening in the Bermuda Triangle was nothing more than a coincidence. Gaddis's article helped to put a dent in the Bermuda Triangle myth, but it didn't do much to stop the rumors. In the following years, the legend of the Bermuda Triangle would continue to capture the public's imagination and inspire. Everything from books to TV shows to feature-length documentaries. One of the most popular theories about the Bermuda Triangle is that it is home to a giant underwater vortex. This vortex is said to be so powerful that it can suck in anything that gets too close, whether we're talking about a small boat or a large cruise ship. Of course, there is no evidence to support this claim, and it makes little sense from a scientific standpoint. If such a vortex did exist, it would have been discovered long ago by scientists. Not to mention the fact that there are plenty of ships and planes that travel through the Bermuda Triangle every year without falling victim to its supposed powers. Another popular theory is that the Bermuda Triangle is home to a methane gas field. Proponents of this theory believe that when methane gas is released from the seafloor, it creates bubbles that can trap ships and planes. Again, There is no evidence to support this claim. It doesn't explain why the Bermuda Triangle seems to be more active during certain times of the year. One of the most intriguing theories about the Bermuda Triangle is that it is home to a portal to another dimension. This theory is based on the fact that many people who disappear in the Bermuda Triangle are never found. Some believe that these people are simply lost in another dimension and will never be seen again. However, this theory does little to explain why people and ships seem to vanish without a trace. Surely if there was a portal to another dimension in the middle of the ocean, authorities would have noticed by now. A more plausible explanation for the Bermuda Triangle is that it is simply a case of bad luck. After all, the area is home to some of the busiest shipping lanes in the world. It's only to be expected that ships and planes would occasionally go missing. Additionally, the waters around the Bermuda Triangle are notoriously treacherous with strong currents and unpredictable weather. This makes it all the more likely that accidents would occur. But what about the people who claim to have witnessed strange activity in the Bermuda Triangle? Are they simply lying, or have they really seen something that they can't explain? I tend to think that those who claim to have seen something strange in the Bermuda Triangle are not lying. However, I don't think that their experiences are any more valid than those who claim to have seen Bigfoot or the Loch Ness Monster. In other words, just because someone believes they saw something doesn't make it true. The bottom line is that there is no evidence to support the claim that anything strange is happening in the Bermuda Triangle. The number of ships and planes that disappear in the area is not any higher than would be expected given the amount of maritime traffic passing through each year. While there are many people who claim to have seen strange activity in the Bermuda Triangle, their experiences are not any more valid than those who claim to have seen Bigfoot or the Loch Ness Monster. Ultimately, the Bermuda Triangle is nothing more than a myth. It is a myth that has captured the public's imagination and inspired countless stories of adventure. But it's just that, a myth. So next time you hear someone talking about the Bermuda Triangle, remember that there is no evidence to support the claim that anything strange is happening in the area. The number of ships and planes that disappear in the Bermuda Triangle is not any higher than would be expected given the amount of maritime traffic passing through each year. And while there are many people who claim to have seen strange activity in the Bermuda Triangle, their experiences are not any more valid than those who claim to have seen Bigfoot or the Loch Ness Monster. Despite the lack of evidence, the Bermuda Triangle myth persists, and it is likely that it will continue to capture the public's imagination for many years to come. There's just something about the idea of a mysterious force lurking in the depths of the ocean that has always fascinated us, and it's probably not going to change anytime soon. That being said, it is important to be aware of the facts surrounding the Bermuda Triangle. Just because something seems mysterious or unexplained doesn't mean that it is actually paranormal in nature. In many cases, there is usually a perfectly rational explanation that can be used to debunk the myth. Do you believe in the Bermuda Triangle? Let me know your thoughts. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.